morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Simon Mills. I'm a senior associate at the Zen Group, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's 695th Lord Mayor's Lecture, where we're going to be discussing Bridging the Gap, Client-Centric Designs and Sustainability in the Construction Industry. Now, I'm joined by Una Margheriti, the founder of ZSI, a firm dedicated to client-focused design and sustainability practices. With a decade of experience in design, Una has collaborated with a full spectrum of industry stakeholders, advocating for client interests and fostering transparency in project execution. Now, as always, the agenda for this webinar is very simple. Following my introduction, our speaker is going to make their presentation and then we will move on to the Q&A discussion. But I'm afraid you are all muted. However, you are able to submit your questions using the chat tool, which is on the right-hand side of your screen. Do chip in at any point of the proceedings. I'm going to be collating your questions and I will put them to Una at the end. As with all of our webinars, we're going to be recording this session and you will be able to access the slides and presentation at a later date. And so, without further ado, I would like to introduce today's speaker. Una, how can we bridge the gap with sustainability in the construction industry?
Thank you, Simon. Hello, everyone. I'm Una Margheriti. I'm an interior designer. I have been an interior designer for a decade, as Simon said, and I have had the pleasure to work for different companies, different clients, different industries, as designer, as a workplace consultant. And I have seen a lot of gaps that we need to fill, not only in design, but in sustainability as well. Next, please. And again, next. So the challenge that we face is mainly with the clients and how we approach the project. So on the fit out side, a common challenge that I want to say that we face is the tender process. A lot of clients do not understand sometimes the terms that we do. So if we say a partition, everyone knows what a solid partition is. I'm taking the bare minimum of the knowledge. Some clients might get confused, or some clients might say, is it right? Is it not? So for me, as a designer, I wanted to speak and say, I want to do that connection between our industry and clients. So how can the project go the best we can? And of course, managing the project and delivering it to the best possible way. Next, please. So on a typical client's experience, as I said, on the confusion, I have had a lot of clients who say, well, I'm not very interested in sustainability and how you source your projects, specifications, samples, and everything. We want a beautiful design. We want design that is functional for us. So for me, it's my job, my duty to find the sources, to find the furniture, to find the specification that this actually ticks the boxes. So by doing the project with them, not only explaining to them how everything works, but at the same time making sure that I tick the boxes. This way is not only saying to them, it's only speaking with them, but actually showing them how it is done. Next, please. So yeah, that's the role of us. So as an independent designer, I have always wanted client to be happy. I have always wanted client to say, right, you tick the boxes when it comes to time, on the timeline, on the budget and everything. And even if they are not focused, which I have to say that about 60% of my clients so far have not expressed an interest, or have said, right, it's up to you, we're not really into that. And then the 40% have said, right, yes, if you can make a change, then let's go and make a change when it comes to sustainability, reusing furniture sometimes, or looking at the lifespan of it after use and everything. So this is the strategies basically that I want to make sure that we use on the fit out projects and design. Next. So the importance of the an industry. Well, I cannot really say how important it is. We have tried in the construction industry to be the best we can. We know for fact that the construction industry is one of the largest that inputs sustainability. And I think the best way to do it is us as people. It doesn't matter what you do. I'm an interior designer, someone is in the fit out, someone is architect, someone is on site, someone is completely different from the construction industry. It doesn't matter what industry you are in, everyone has to make a difference, everyone has to make a change. And this one is not only as us, but at the same time as legislation. So we have to make sure that we work well. We have to make sure that all we tick the boxes. And I don't want to say too much, but the idea is that as a company, you shouldn't only tick the boxes, the bare minimum. You should do a bit more than that. Just because you tick the boxes on the legislation side doesn't mean that you cannot do more. Doing more is what actually makes a difference, and it was what will actually lead us to a cleaner future and a better environment. Next. So yeah, simplifying the tender process for clients. As I always said, I am happy to sit down with clients and explain to them how the process works, how we can make a change, how we can source furniture and specifications that are close by, so we don't have to travel, like get something, let's say from USA to here. We have to see what locally sourced. Sometimes when you say locally sourced or on the badge, you look at that and you say the furniture, let's say as an example, is UK made, but actually it is UK assembled, not UK made. So we have to look a bit further than just that. And this my job to go and to look more in detail and say to Mr. Client that this is the right product that we can use for your project rather than the other one. Yeah, next. So this is a case study. This is a 3D visualizer. This is a 3D render that I have done for one of my previous projects. As you can see, there are 3 rooms. The reason why I chose this picture is because I work closely with the supplier, the designer, and the client. So 3 of us, we work together very well to make sure that the project is delivered not just on time, but actually sourcing the right products for that particular project. Next. Again here, I have done this project last year, and we have all the furniture, most of the furniture reused. So we got them from the previous office. And this is not because to save money or anything. The only thing is they were on a good quality and why to change them. So we just reused exactly the same furniture with a different layout to make sure that we cut on the carbon and we do not actually have new furniture when we don't need to. Next. This is another project, again with the furniture. What we try to do here, get sources that were UK. I have to just admit that I do more than just commercial, I do residential as well. So this was one of the clients and the project that I'm very proud of to do. So it's about the way we live, the way we work, and yeah, the way we design. So when you see a picture, you see something nice, something beautiful. For me, I see something functional, and as every designer, I see, oh, I know where you can get that chair, I know when you can get that cushion and everything. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Next. So this is just from Charles Dickens that I really like to say it. For me, design is not as I said, just to have something beautiful. I work in collaboration with a lot of clients, with a lot of companies, with a lot of architects and designers, and all the time I have been asked the question, how come an interior designer can be sustainability focused, or how can you do the change, because you do not very large projects, you do small projects, or do you do like medium projects? When I say medium and small, I mean not the multi-million ones. Is the change starts with you. The change starts with even small projects. If you see the fit out in the industry, you will see that the small project, the small fit out projects actually are a large number that are in the sustainability. Sorry, we can change in the sustainability, not only the tier one, not only on the large projects. I would like to go to the questions now, if that's okay. Is that the next slide? Happy to take any questions that you might have on an interior design, or if you have any project or just a question, I'm happy to answer. Simon, I think you're on mute.
Let me put my mute off. There we are. That was fascinating. Thank you very much. Now I can see we've got several questions from our audience here, but as the chairman, the privilege of asking the first one falls to me. How clued up are clients with what's possible with respect to sustainable design? Do you have to very much hold their hand, or do they know their own minds? Do they know what they want?
Well, most of them have no clue. So on most of them, they are like, yeah, we understand, yeah, we know, but they don't even know where to start with. So even the ones who have a general idea of sustainability, or they want to make a difference, they don't know where to start. So I have to pick the hand basically and say, right, they said that. A very small number understand and know and actually collaborate with me, and I am very happy, and yeah, they are the best basically. But I am happy to help. So actually having a client who doesn't understand and doesn't know, and in the end of the project, I can see the difference. I can see that they understand it. That's the best reward I can have.
Excellent. Now we've got an interesting question here. Alison, hello. We haven't spoken for a long time. Great minds think alike, because I made a note on this as well, and this is to do with the recycling of furniture. It's quite rare for, especially for new builds and refurbs, to recycle furniture. How easy is it to get hold of recycled or refurbished furniture in the UK? Because certainly I remember when I was active in sustainability in the city, furniture was a real problem. It was just sent straight to landfill. You couldn't send it anywhere to have it refurbished or repaired. Has that changed?
It has changed. So there are a lot of companies who the easiest way is just to chuck them in the skip. We do have a few companies now. I have collaboration with two of them. They actually have a really large space to store the furniture, and actually they take even the ones that are slightly damaged and they repair them. So of course they resell them for a price, but we have a lot of change on that, and there are companies specifically that on this that do this job, and I'm very proud of them.
Excellent. Now, this is a provocative question. How knowledgeable are architects about sustainability? Do they have the necessary expertise to deliver in this area?
Well, the simple question to answer, sorry, to that is they do have the knowledge, but it's about putting that knowledge into reality. So having the knowledge is a different thing. And actually, when you go to specifications and actually specify something, then that's the difference between companies who actually are sustainable and they truly do it, and the other ones who are not. So unfortunately, yeah, we have a lot on our way to change on the mindset of people.
Now, this is an interesting question. You That was a great quote from Charles Dickens there, and I suppose he was around for the very early days of the telegraph and perhaps even the telephone, which is why he was talking about that. What are your thoughts on advanced software connectivity?
Um, right, I have been working from my laptop, as I say, way before COVID. And I always say I don't do the 9 to 5. I work on a deadline. So working efficiently is much better than just saying you have done something or just tick the boxes. The same when it comes to the projects that I said earlier, to take the minimum, the bare minimum when it comes to legislation. We have to do a bit more. So it's not just about looking good, it's about actually going a bit further than that and making it happen when it comes to net zero and sustainability.
I mean, this is an absolutely fascinating area because certainly since COVID, there has been a drive for people to work from home. And as an employer, I can understand that you are, reducing your costs by, pushing a great deal of your energy costs onto your employees. But fundamentally, I don't think it's sustainable because how do you learn as an individual coming into, for example, the city of London? How do you actually learn your trade? How do you actually develop that sense of understanding of the culture of the organization you're in unless you're physically in the office? So are you seeing a change in what clients are demanding with regards to how the spaces are used nowadays, and how does that impact on sustainability?
Well, since COVID, we had the shift that people worked from home. And after the COVID, a lot of directors and MDs actually wanted to see people in the office, physically see them in the office. But a lot of companies cannot do that anymore. The mindset of people have changed. And a lot of companies now have gone from the usual hot desking a bit there in the corner, and the majority of only desks, to how can we make the office mainly a hot desking, or you don't have a specific desk to work from. So you just go there with your laptop and you just plug in, and that's it, that's for the day. The best for me and what I have seen so far is a mixed. So if you are allowed as an employee to work from home and from the office, so this way you have the space and the time that you work alone, so you want to focus, you want to do some work, or you have kids, so you want a day to just drop your kids and go and work from home. And the days that you actually are in the office, so because you are maybe not director level, so you need to see how everything works and actually understand the business, or you are someone that is in a managerial role that you actually have to manage people. So having this, I'm not saying 50-50 because it depends on the industry or what you do, but having this choice that you say, I want to work a few days from home and a few days in the office, I believe is the best one. On the other hand, we have a lot of offices, they say, right, Monday and Friday is like, these 2 days are the dead days because most of the office is empty. And even you can see, I'm sure, on the trains, and you don't have a lot of people in the morning or in the afternoon. So how can we reduce the rent? Because technically you are paying rent, but no one is in the office. So you have to make sure that the design of the office is big enough to have everyone, or to have most of the people on a Wednesday, let's say, but at the same time, what we're going to do on a Friday. So that's why it's a trick question, and that's why as a workplace consultant, I always go and sit down with client and I say, right, let's see the best way we can actually utilize the space. Some people put a pizza day, some people put the wine time, the wine hour, which have been even before COVID anyway. So 4 o'clock, 4:30 on a Friday, everyone. But yeah, we try to get these changes that as people we want to go to the office. We just don't say, oh, I have to go to the office tomorrow. We look forward to having that collaboration, having that coffee break in a breakout. So yeah, I believe this is it.
Well, I have heard the City of London London described as a collection of bars, cafes, and restaurants connected with a loose financial theme. So I think that's going to continue.
Yes.
Now this is a fascinating question. In your experience, is there a difference in approach with regards to sustainability between domestic and commercial clients?
Oh, yes, it is. It is. Commercial clients are more straightforward. You have a deadline, you have a brief to follow. It's not as personal as residential. When it comes to residential, you're gonna live there is way more personal. People want to have the best. They change mind hundreds and times. Not that in the commercial they don't, but they are more understanding when it comes to you have to do this design, you have to do this purchase by this day. When it comes to residential, sometimes it drags on for so long that I am like, okay, we have to make a decision. So they both have their own challenges, they, but they are quite different when it comes to the way how they are designed.
When you're responding to tenders, do you offer multiple options to clients at different price points? Um, and how does that affect sustainability? What's the client's priority? Is it always costs, or are they looking for greater sustainability in design nowadays?
Well, speaking from experience, the clients I have had so far, when I have put prices that are slightly more, if I was going to take more boxes on the sustainability, some of them they say fine if the difference is not very much. Some of them usually say, well, this is our budget. If you can incorporate it within that, then we are fine with it. But unfortunately, we don't have more, so we cannot pay extra, which it breaks my heart. And usually, that's the time where I actually have to work double to. It's like a challenge. Then I'm like, all right, okay, I will find something that is within your budget, but it will tick my boxes as well. Um, this is where actually I do the fight. This is where actually I'm like, okay, if you have a bit more, you can have this, or if you put a bit more on the budget, you can have that. But I believe it is changing. Comparing to a couple of years ago, things are changing. So this is a good thing that I've been looking at, and yeah, they are flexible. Let's put it this way.
Now this is a really interesting question. Have you had any involvement with virtual reality and virtual spaces? Nowadays, there's an increasing movement to actually hold meetings and do work in these virtual spaces. As a designer, is this something that you have an interest in or have been involved in?
Right. There are a few companies, and one of them I know very, very well, that all the library that we have, when I mean library, is the samples that we use, so the carpets, the tiles, the furniture, and everything, all of them are online. So you go to this platform, and instead of having physical samples, you have everything online. So this way, I can specify all my projects without the need of physical samples, and this way I can present to clients the same way virtually. Uh, this is a way. This is a good way. I try not to have a lot of binders and samples in my office or at home. I work from home as well. So I do use them, but not as often, because when it comes to the real specification, right in the end, when we have to actually confirm things, clients want to see physical samples. So for me, is a mixture. I start with the 3D rendering and this and that, but when it comes to the end, they need to see physical samples. They need to have that touch and feel, the look and feel that this is the quality, not only the color. This is the quality that we are giving you, and you can see from the sample when it comes to the quality.
Are there any particular materials that you avoid or are particularly keen on in your designs? Do you use leather, for example?
Well, we have the pleather, which is a plastic that looks like the leather, and that's the one that I try to avoid. We have other products that I like. we have a few fabrics. I don't want to say the company that we specified, but what they do is they get the fiber from recycled bottles, and actually the fabric is very soft. It's nice. So we have a lot of samples that we get from recycled materials, and that's my go-to, my primer ones when it comes to specifications on the furniture and everything. Plastic is another one. Some architects would say that, well, if you have a feature wall that is plastic but it looks like a brick, yes, the material means that it's not sustainable. But if you see the long run, if you see how long the material will stay on the wall, actually makes sense to have it. For me, it doesn't, because in the office you don't have things more than 3-4 years, maybe 6 years. So no matter how long that wallpaper or that feature wall might stay, in reality it will be changed in a couple of years. So I would not go for it.
How do you deliver thermal comfort and acoustic insulation in a fit out?
Right, we have a lot of acoustic solutions on the projects. I do the interiors, so for me, when it comes to thermal and a bit beyond, I always get someone who is specified for that. So I collaborate with them and say, what's the best option? How can we go more sustainable? But acoustics in the office is very important, especially now that we work in open plans and try to have someone that is trying to focus in one corner, another one who is on a call just next to it. So acoustics are very important, and hence the right layout of the space is what it makes the change, apart from what we put in as acoustic panels or acoustic solutions or white noises or anything that we put in the office.
What can be done as part of the design process to reduce waste and increase recycling and the overall sustainability of the construction sector?
Yeah. Well, if I was going to go on examples, a lot of landlords before, and even some even now, they put carpet on a cat A. So when we go and do the cat B, all that carpet might very easily go in a skip. But what we do is we actually just pile it up and we resell it. So we give it to someone to resell it. So for us, is just the cost of just piling it up. Someone comes and picks it up, and that's it. Actually, it saves money when it comes to the skip, because it means less skips for the person who is going to do the installation. So we do these small things that I believe help. As I said earlier, um, a lot of people think that, oh, it's a fit out, it's not a multi-million new development, so we don't have to focus on that. But actually, if you count the numbers of the projects that are in the City of London, the fit out, the small projects, relocations, if you put them all together in one bag, they are quite heavy, they're quite a lot. So yeah, we have to look that as well.
How do you future-proof your designs?
Future proof. Right.
As it, yeah, sorry, go on.
It's okay. Um, I've always had this mindset that I'm always far forward when it comes to reality. Like I said, I used to work from home or with my laptop way before COVID. And this is the way I believe, that's why I'm a designer. I look at the future more than some other people do. I look at the company, and we do that kind of like an exercise. What do you need now? How many people you are now? How many people are gonna be in a year time, in 3 year time, in 5 year time? So this way we make the design that can fit for the future years. It's like, let's say if you have 6 desks here and 6 desks here, you leave empty space for another 2 desks on each end for later on, for future growth. So in the beginning you will have a nice wide corridor, but actually that's because in the future you'll add more desks. I'm just giving a very simple example to that. So you future-proof it by thinking forward, not only designing for the day or for the year or for the month that the office is going to be relocated. You think for the year ahead as well.
Do you think current building regulations go far enough with regards to sustainability? What more could be done, particularly with regards to interior design?
Oh, people will hate me if I say that, but I'm gonna say it. Yes, the idea is that there are changes. Things have changed for better, and it looks like they're going to change, but they will never actually get changed, truly change, unless we come to a system like a point system or something that if you do this then you might get this one cheaper, or if you do this then you'll tick more boxes when it comes to having your ratings up, which they are there at the moment. It's not that they are not, but they are not truly enforced, so we need to enforce them more.
Excellent. Hold on, we've got so many questions here. I'm trying to flick through them. Uh, how does the new innovation of off-site construction impact on design?
Right. For us, it's actually easier if it's off-site production, because that means less time on site. I start the design way before we go on site. So if I would have, let's say, a puzzle that we start on site today and in 2 3 days everything is puzzled in and is done, would have been like my ideal project. But we are not there yet, unfortunately, especially when it comes to fit out. I do a lot of bespoke furniture as well, so a lot of things come pre-made. So what they do is they're cut off-site, and everything that needs to be done there in the office is just assemble it. So there are a lot of things that actually happen like that at the moment. But when it comes to multi-million projects and everything, yeah, that's the best way. Actually, I'm designing a bathroom which soon will bear my name. It's a modular bathroom that literally you just buy it as a box. I don't want to say more details, and you just put it in. So if you have, I don't know, 100 flats or a hotel with 200 rooms, the only thing you have to do is buy 200 bathrooms, and they just come in a box, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. You just plug them in. Uh,
Fantastic. Do you think clients are becoming more conscious of sustainability when they're developing the specifications for new build and refurbs?
uh, it is a change. So comparing to a few years, yes, definitely. But it's our work and our job to actually push that a bit forward, because it's not on their forefront. So for them, is they have a project, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and they forget it. It's about us to remind them that this is how things should be done. This is how things, even when you finish the project, remember this. Don't forget that. So yeah, fingers crossed with what we do, we will have more clients in the future, and it will make our lives easier as well when it comes to designing. So I don't have to I'm not saying fight, but I cannot really find a different word for it. So to fight for the sustainable option rather than the cheaper option.
In terms of calculating carbon footprints for new build and refurb, are there any go-to tools that you've got for trying to assess performance?
Yeah, well, City of London as well has got a lot on that, but there are actually companies as well who calculate it. So they calculate the travel, they calculate the way it's produced on production and everything. Or if I go for my preferred, let's say, carpet, they have everything that they say is a net zero. So they plant trees for every carpet tile that I purchase. So this is the type of suppliers that are a dream on. So I know for a fact if I buy this amount of carpets, then they will make the work easier for me. But yeah, there are a lot that we can calculate on that.
Excellent. Now, I'm afraid that time has caught up with us, ladies and gentlemen. I know that some of you have still got questions to ask. Please do contact Yuna at the email address she's supplied to continue this discussion, or you can email us and we'll pass your questions on. We're also going to be posting the recording of this presentation online in the next couple of days, so you can revisit our discussion. It just remains for me to thank Juna for her excellent presentation and to urge you to keep an eye on our forthcoming events page for more webinars, which include the bright future of cross-border payments on the 28th of August, eye color and the beautiful science behind it on the 29th of August, building urban resilience on the 2nd of September, and projections for the metaverse, spatial and immersive environments on the 3rd of September. You can catch up with all our previous webinars on our website, on YouTube, and on our LinkedIn channels. It just remains for me to thank Yuna for her excellent presentation and you to the audience for your brilliant questions today. You've been very engaged. Thank you so much and goodbye.